Hey everybody, welcome back to Spiritual Journey with Donna. All right, today we are going to talk about the faith folk. We've got a fairy altar here, or fae altar, because I had a request for it. And I would appreciate everybody's request, and I'll try to do what I can on those requests, so make sure you let me know what you would like to see. This one, dealing with fays, it might be a little longer than others because I mainly want you to know not all fae are good. So I'm going to go over that with you too. But the whole idea of setting up an altar to bring them into your home. Now, truthfully, only two will probably come into your home: pixies or brownies. You know, either one of those are more apt to come into your home. So you can set this up like in an area that is very peaceful. They don't like a lot of noise. They don't want to be around where TV's blasting. They don't like stress and anxiety and yelling and screaming, you know, so you want a nice quiet place. Also a clean place. They don't like clutter. They don't like, you know, like dusty, dirty, hoarding type thing. You couldn't get a fairy to come into a hoarder's house, you know. But you just have it neat, clean. They don't like strong chemical smells, meaning bleach or, you know, something just strong like that. They like flowers and nice sweet scents. Like if you were going to burn an incense, you would want to do something like a floral scent, like lavender, rose, one of those they would love. They also love fruit scents, anything that reminds them of the food and fruits and things such as that. The one thing they, you know, make sure that everything that you get, these are just things that they like. Nice little figurines. They like glittery stuff, buttons, beads, crystals. It's always good to put quartz and selenite on that altar to keep it cleansed. Ribbons. They love ribbons. And this is an incense burner here. I did this one because you can put the incense stick in there and there will be no ash, you know, getting around, because the fairies would not like that. They don't like cigarette smoke, nothing of that nature. But they do love shiny crystals, and these little beads can be considered a gift for them, though it's always good to put a little honey, which I'm using a shell for the, you know, the gift, the food offering for the fairy to draw them. And you put a little honey in that. Don't leave it for more than a day, because, you know, ants also love honey and stuff like that. So you just want to give it, you know, get rid of it after that. You can send it back to the earth. But this is your main setup for an inside altar, which could be an old vintage table, any antique. They love old stuff like that too. Or just a simple little shelf somewhere to just let the fairies know, or that you are inviting them to come into the home. Okay, now you can also do a little setup outside by a tree, you know, the base of a tree. Other than, you know, putting a little ribbons and some stuff, you know, like beads and things like that. You really wouldn't have to put figurines, but they love plants. The most friendly in the pixies love daisies. So, you know, make sure you have a lot of daisies, because that's their favorite for the friendliest. And those are the ones you would be more apt to be able to, I don't know if you can communicate with them real good because they're so tiny. Pixies are only 4 inches tall. And it'd kind of be hard to hear them. I've seen a movie on that thing, and it never dawned on me before. Can't even think of the name of that movie, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Where it's like you just can't hear them. But I mean, maybe you can telepathically. There is one, the Dryad, and we'll go over all this, that you can communicate through the ground and through the earth with while you are barefoot. And we will get into that in a minute here. But yes, fairy houses. Pixies love fairy houses. So any type of thing like that, if you want to make your own, that gourds, of course, make perfect fairy houses. Paint it up, maybe put a little furniture of some kind in it, a little dollhouse furniture, something that lets them know that they are wanted and loved. And you can, like I said, do the little offering there, beads and stuff like that, because if you give them gifts, they're kind of like a raven would be, or a crow. They will take that gift and they'll be get closer and closer to you in how they feel. They'll know that you're not trying to hurt them, and that you like them and appreciate them. Now, before, I forgot to say, in the house, make sure that if there is a lot of negative energy, you will sage, and most likely, I would say they would prefer like a lavender sage. You could do cedar sage, you could do white sage, but I think lavender sage, because of it being a floral scent, they're going to be more apt to come around for that. Keep those negative energies away, though, on that. Now, I'm going to go over the different types of fae folk and let you know which ones you want and which ones you don't. Some of them are considered demonic, basically, so you do not want them around. And I think that's the last one I got on there. So let's go. The first one, brownies. They are friendly and helpful. They're attracted to rural areas. So like if you live in the city, you're not going to get a brownie to come along. They love doing farm work. In fact, they'll do farm work out in the barn at night without anybody even knowing, because they are pretty shy. They love warm areas, happy homes. They love homes with chests and closets and secret doors, because that gives them places to hide. They love pets. They love animals. When they see you being kind to a pet, that makes them happy, and they're going to be more drawn to you that way. You can also leave them milk, cookies, and honey, but leave it outside because they're not going to come in the house and right away. Anyway, they could eventually, but not right away. Brownies are a magical magnet for good luck, so they're always nice to have around, but, they're nocturnal and shy. They don't like extravagance, and they're a little fickle. They don't upset them, because they will leave or cause trouble in your home. But overall, they're very faithful and do love humans. So brownies, a yes. You might want to attract brownies. The pixies, another friendly one that we were talking about that could come in. They are naturally mischievous. They do love nature, so they're going to be found more in the wooded areas. And they love, like I said, they love flowers. Daisies will attract the friendliest. And they will steal stuff from your home. So that's why you want to leave out like these little things that they could carry. Remember, they're only 4 inches tall, about the size of a hummingbird. So, they wouldn't steal this because they can't lift this. But, they could take that as their gift. That's a very lightweight thing that probably be kind of heavy to them, but they would still love it. And they love glittery, some jewels, some little gems, teeny ones. And of course ribbon, that you could leave ribbon for them. And in return for those gifts, they will help your garden flourish and grow. All right, so pixies, yes. And brownies, yes. Now we have the banshee, which is in the Fae family, but thankfully they're only seen in Ireland. Banshees will give that cry, a haunting, eerie cry of death, which means somebody near, it could be you, but somebody near is going to die. So, you know, banshees aren't going to come into your home anyway, and let them do their own thing. They got a busy schedule. I'm sure there's more than one, but I don't know if any have ever been seen in the U.S., just in Ireland. Leprechauns. Now, leprechauns have been seen in the U.S. or known to be in the U.S. Now, they can be friendly, but they're very untrusting of humans. They're mostly found in Ireland. They love music and dancing, and they're tricksters. They say some are tricksters. I think most all are tricksters, because when a human tries to trick a leprechaun out of their pot of gold, the human most always gets tricked by the leprechaun and ends up with less gold themselves. So having them around you would be asking for, if you like playing tricks and pranks and all that, yeah, but I would say leave the leprechauns alone. Let them do their own thing. They've been around, you know, for forever, enjoying their way. So just stick with the brownies and pixies right now. Then we have elves. Elves do want to be left alone. Chances are you will never attract them to your home. Iceland is the best known area to be able to see elves. Many of their caves are actually protected by the government because 3/4 of the residents in Iceland believe they exist. In fact, this is an elf, but it's also Iceland's Santa Claus. So I thought I'd put that up there. So elves, no, just let them be. Let them do their own thing. Okay, kobolds. They only live in mines and only been seen by miners. So getting them out of that mine, I don't think would be a good idea. They have been known to help the miners by letting them know, like, before the mine collapses and stuff like that. So they're helpful where they are. You don't want to drag them out. Now, changelings is the next one. And a changeling is when a fairy, most likely an elf, changes their sick or what they consider to be ugly baby for a human baby. And with technology as it is now, it's gotten more dangerous for them to do this, so it doesn't happen much anymore. The only accounts you have of it are back in medieval times and stuff like that. Maybe a few after that, but not many. And so you don't want to fool with that. Divas. Okay, divas are friendly. They're small as fireflies and appear as a small glowing orb. And a lot of people see these and just think that they're a little glowing orb that they see, thinking it's a spirit or something. They love plants. But they won't be around decaying plants. They don't like that. And they have been known to guide healers to the plant they need to heal someone. So say, you know, you're a forager and you go out looking for a certain herb, they can guide you there. So leave them where they are in their own environment, in their wooded area, because they can be helpful that way, more so than coming to your home or trapping them. You really don't want to do that, and we'll go over that too. Okay, now the sweetest of all the fae folk are the dryads. Dryads are little tree fae, not the tree spirit, but they help with this tree, and nurture it and things like that. They are attached to their tree, and they can't drift far from their tree. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a tree like this in your yard, you know that you have a tree with dryads if the tree has a face. Now, it doesn't have to be, like a face that you see on, say, tree beard or something. It can, just if you see a face, a faint face on that tree has dryads. And like I said, they're the sweetest, friendliest. If you are nurturing that tree and loving that tree, those dryads will love you. And they also love other plants. You could plant a few plants around their tree. They love animals, probably the squirrels in their trees. And they are attracted to humans that care for the tree and plants and animals. You will know your tree has been attached, or has an attached dryad, because it will have a face, which I already said. I'm going over my notes because I don't want to leave anything out. There's so much interesting things with this. And then once a dryad sees how well you take care of the tree, plants, and animals, it will communicate with you. And the way to do this is go up to the tree, put your hand on the tree, standing barefooted, because they communicate through the ground, or through the earth. And I'm assuming you will telepathically know. You'll get your little cues from Mother Earth. You'll feel it. You'll know it. Your spirit will connect to it. But now the sad part is when the tree dies, that the dryads die that are protecting that tree. So if you have that tree, keep it safe. And then we have gnomes. Now gnomes mature fast. They always seem to look old because, like I say, they mature fast. They live by tree roots in the forest. They are connected to nature and actually earth elements. They're an earth elemental, I meant. They like and eat things around them in the forest, like, say, the forest has nuts, berries, eggs, root vegetables, mushrooms. They eat all that kind of stuff, but what they can get from the forest that they are in. And if you befriend a gnome, they can help you immensely with your earth magic. They are healers of plants and animals. Be kind and appreciative to them, because if you insult them, they're gone. They're not going to have anything else to do with you. If you please and thank you are always a good thing to say to everybody, and especially a gnome, because they take it serious. Manners. They love manners. Okay, then we have ones that we'll never see because we don't live by the Irish Sea, which is the Irish Sea water guardians, only found in the Irish Sea. Then they help all the sea creatures there, and they love storms. Okay, then we've got ones you definitely want to stay away from, and that's the Kelpie. They're ugly, scary water fairies, cannibalistic carnivores, devouring anything by the water from deer to humans. They are not friendly. They can shapeshift to lure humans to them. So say you're by the water and you see all of a sudden this beautiful unicorn appear, kind of stay back. That might be a Kelpie shape-shifting into this unicorn. And then we've got merfolk, which eventually we're going to talk more about mermaids, mermen, but merfolk, they actually like to be called mer. But they only reach out to humans if their sea is getting polluted, and they need help stopping that. Otherwise they really don't want anything to do with us. Nymphs, and there's many different kind of nymphs. There's water nymphs, tree nymphs, wood nymphs, but they're mischievous. But they can fall in love with humans and be committed to them. I just don't know, how much you would want a nymph following you around all the time. So that's up to you. Then we have salamanders. And this isn't your normal salamander. This is a fire salamander. You've probably seen them in cartoons. They can be friendly and helpful. They are a fire elemental and can also wreak havoc. So, it's one of those things, but they'll do that if they feel slighted. Like if they feel like you have done them wrong, they can wreak havoc. So, don't play around with stuff like that. So make totally sure you know what you are doing before you use them for help. And things like that, I just don't even try. I don't even want to call them towards me because I don't know, I might make them mad and not realize I'm making them mad. So, you don't need that kind of stuff. Then you have the Seelie Court, arbitrators and judges in the fairy world, and they can be seen at midnight conducting court. Somewhat friendly to humans, they are said to seek out help from humans if needed and return the favors with kindness, though some can be mischievous by playing tricks on you or get revenge if they feel slighted. So another thing, might just want to let those be. And we got Selkies, also just found by the Irish Sea. They take on the appearance of a gray seal, human woman, or classic fairies, like say Tinkerbell. And they mostly appear on Midsummer's Eve. So chances of you seeing one in the U.S. are none. You're not going to see one here. Then we've got Will-O-Wisp. Appears over bodies of water, looks like a firefly or a flickering orb, where the others were in the woods. These are over the water. And they like calm waters. They can also appear in a wooded area. They only appear at night. When you see them, they are most likely having a party. So those are nice little fae, but they are probably just want to be with each other. They don't want, to be somewhere else that they're kind or not. It'd be probably like feeling like they're in a zoo or something. And then we have the Unseelie Court. This translates to unblessed court. These are not friendly. They're the darker counterparts of the Seelie Court, made up of many types of fairies, but draw in the lower type of fae, such as bogies and bogarts. The court can be made up of lost spirits and dark fairies. They are known to help witches with their black magic or make deals with humans. Like, say, if you want something selfishly, greedily, and you make a deal with one of those, don't do that. Don't be crazy and do that kind of stuff, because it's gonna be bad for you in the long run. But okay, my little note: these deals never work out, which is true. Stay away from them. They anger easily, and the court is dark, dangerous, and evil. If you are walking through a woodsy area at night, steer clear of them. They are said to steal humans to make them join their court to keep their numbers up. So, I don't know of anybody that's ever happened to, but we don't want to take any chances. Okay, 20, Bogart. Now, generally known to be a brownie gone bad from being mistreated. So, the first one we talked about were brownies. If you mistreated that brownie, it is eventually going to turn into a bogart. So that's why you have to treat them kindly, nicely, appreciative of what they're doing and helping you with. They stick to the area where they were mistreated to cause havoc. If the family leaves, they stay around still because they're still tied to that place. If the house falls in despair, they tend to go crazy, haunting the old dilapidated place. So this is where you get a lot of your haunted houses and ghosts. It's really a bogart in there. They love playing, but I mean, I believe in ghosts too and spirits, but it's most likely going to be a bogart because they are tied to that place too. So either or, it could be either one. They love playing tricks and pranks on humans. If you buy a house that has a bogart, an exorcism on that house needs to be performed. And that, that you just try. I don't know how you could tell, but I have so many people that move into new houses that have to, sage it or, what's wrong, this is happening, that's happening. It very well could be a bogart. That was a brownie. Back in the day, back whenever it was farmland or something there, and they were helping farmers, and then the farmer passed away, and they ended up getting mistreated from the other. You don't know. You never can tell, but be careful. Now, the last one is gremlins, and the only reason I'm putting this in here because it's not really fae folk, but my husband always says anytime that we have car trouble or computer problems, everything, mechanical or technology happens, that it's a gremlin. Now, gremlins were only brought about during World War II, like when the planes, the aircrafts were having mechanical problems, they would say it was a gremlin. But they're small, impish creatures, and they meddle in mechanics and technology. Now, if you have a gremlin, it's not like, oh, my car broke down today and nothing else happened. It's like your car breaks down, your computer goes offline, your wireless isn't, your phone's not working. All this just groups up into one, and believe me, we've had that happen quite a bit. To get rid of them, offer them food or drink gifts, and tell them that this is what they will look forward to if they stop messing with your stuff. Just start with a bowl of water, take it outside, talk to them, tell them that, you might not see them, but just say it out loud, and continue this. If it doesn't work that day, do it again. And for about a week, and if it still doesn't work after a week, do a banishing on them, and then get them out of there. Now, the last, I know this is long, y'all, but there's a lot to say about the fae folk. So I want to tell you 6 important rules when connecting to the fae folk, what you've got to remember not to do, basically, and what to do. So the first, their name is for them. They may give it to you eventually, but don't misuse it, as they, have to keep their free will. And do not bend to your rules. Do not say their name to bend to your rules. It can be bad. Fairies are more likely to try to kill you off if you are abusing your power. Remember this now. This cannot be stressed enough. Do not make them mad at you. So you might not even want to do this at all in the first place, if you don't think you can go through without making them mad. Now, another thing, if you have learned your true soul name, and in a couple videos away, a couple shows away, I'm going to show you how to find out your true soul name. Do not reveal it to the fae folk, or anyone else for that matter. This is basically selling your soul, and you will be bound to this fae, not only in this lifetime, but all future lifetimes. They can call you into birth from the soul realm at any time or send you back. The only way to break this enchantment is to kill or bind the Fae. So do not go there. Don't go there. Never reveal your soul name. And then the third, you cannot control fairies. While you can work with some, and they are happy to be there for you and share in joys in your life, you may not be able to develop the relationship you truly want of them. Think of them as a feral cat. You know, they're wild in the beginning, and then they kind of get nicer and nicer and nicer to you. Sometimes, some feral cats want nothing to do with you except you just leave me some food and I'm on my way. So think of it like that. Develop a relationship of respect with them before you ask for any favors. Some fairies are tricksters and will go above and beyond to frustrate your wishes to make sure they are not achieved. They'll make sure that your wishes aren't achieved if you frustrate them too much. Okay, number 4, use protection. Mean fairies love when mortals are easily confused. They start playing pranks or hiding your keys, things of that nature. You might lose your phone, you might lose your keys, just little things here and there. So use white sage to clear that area of negative energies. And like I was saying before, lavender's good, cedar's good, Palo Santo is also good, and white sage you can use. And then this is why we have the selenite. You can set up selenite and the clear quartz to cast a circle and hold the energies that you are using. That means the energy staying in the area you are using them at. Okay, and I got number 5. The Fae are a proud folk. They love themselves in all their temperamental glory. They can be extremely stubborn and revel in human suffering if insulted. Revel. Sorry about that. In human suffering if insulted. So always have your best manners when speaking with them and asking them for anything. And again, please and thank you and mean it. Be very mannerable. And be so grateful and thankful that they are there to help you out from a different realm. They're not really in our realm. I think they're in go through the veil just to help you out a lot of times. But they can cross over into our realm. It's just we can't cross over into their realm a lot. But people have been said to go to the fairy realm. Okay, and then 6, never break a promise you made to a fae folk. And maybe once you gain their trust, they will share in some ancient secrets. Now that is what would be worth knowing. I'm all about the ancient secrets. But yeah, don't break a promise. Never promise anything to anybody. It's just when you're doing this kind of stuff, if you say you're going to do it, do it. Be faithful, be mannerable, and show a lot of love. Show that love. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching my channel, Spiritual Journey with Donna. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something, gotten something from it. And make sure that you like, subscribe, and that way it keeps us knowing that we're doing something right for you. Thanks so much.